Have you ever really stopped to think about the raw, physical energy that's powering your thoughts right now? We tend to think of the brain as just an organ, but it's so much more than that. It's constantly humming with this quiet internal fire. So today, let's explore the incredible energetic cost of consciousness.
So let's start with a number. How much power does it actually take to run the entire universe inside your head? Well, the answer is kind of mind-blowing. It's just 20 watts. That's it. We're talking about the same power as a dim little light bulb. And from that tiny, tiny trickle of energy, you generate every single idea, every memory, and every dream you've ever had. And this really puts it into perspective. It's a tale of two flames. A simple candle flame, right? It burns with roughly the same amount of energy that fuels your entire conscious experience. On one side, you get simple light and heat, but on the other, you get the ability to compose a symphony, to solve a complex problem, to feel profound love. It's the same amount of power, just wielded in an unbelievably different way. What's even crazier is that even when you're doing absolutely nothing, just sitting there staring into space, your brain is an absolute beehive of activity. It is by far the most energy-hungry organ in your body. And that creates what you could call the most expensive silence in the universe. A body totally at rest, but a mind that's always in motion.
Okay, so if all that energy is being burned, even when we're just resting, what in the world is it paying for? What is the baseline price just for having a mind that's, well, ready to spring into action at a moment's notice? The answer lies with this incredible little piece of molecular machinery, the sodium-potassium pump. Just think of it like a microscopic engine, or maybe a tiny battery charger, inside every single one of your billions of neurons. And its only job, all day, every day, is to constantly push sodium ions out and pull potassium ions in. It's just maintaining this perfect electrical balance, keeping the neuron primed and ready to fire. And now look at the cost of that readiness. It is staggering. A full 40% of your brain's entire baseline energy budget is spent just running these tiny pumps. That's not for thinking. It's not for feeling. It's just to maintain the potential to do so. What an immense investment in just being prepared. And that kind of brings us to a really powerful idea, right? Thought is anything but free. Every single flicker of awareness, every connection your brain makes, it's an expenditure. It's an act of paying for focus with a very real, very physical currency, energy. So, if our neurons are the ones burning through this incredible energy budget, how does the fuel actually get to them? I mean, there has to be a supply chain, right? Well, let's take a look at the sophisticated and honestly beautiful system that feeds this neural fire. So, I want you to meet the unsung heroes of the brain. The astrocytes. Now, these aren't neurons, they're the support cells. You can think of them as the brain's quiet guardians, or maybe it's logistics managers. They sit right between the bloodstream and the neurons, and they manage this hidden, high-stakes economy of fuel that runs completely beneath our conscious awareness. And here's how they do it. It's called the astrocyte neuron lactate shuttle. It's so cool. First, the astrocytes, our guardians, they pull glucose from the blood. But they don't just hand it over, they refine it into a more efficient, gentler fuel called lactate. Then, when a neuron gets active and needs energy, the astrocyte shuttles that lactate directly to it. Just like that, a thought is fueled. It's this incredibly precise, on-demand delivery system. And you really can't overstate how critical this microscopic generosity is. This isn't just some neat biological trick. It's absolutely fundamental. If this delicate balance, this fuel chain, ever begins to falter, the consequences are immediate and profound. The neural fire dims, and thought itself literally begins to fade away. Okay, so we've established the brain is incredibly expensive to run. You'd think that over millions of years, evolution would have found a way to make it cheaper, right? Well, it did. And it developed this remarkable secret strategy for conserving its precious energy budget. So let's compare two ways the brain could work. On the one hand, it could just react to the world, constantly processing every new sight, sound, and feeling that comes in. That would be unbelievably energy intensive. Or it could predict. It could use all of its past experiences to build a model of the world and just guess what's going to happen next. And that is far, far cheaper. See, your brain isn't so much reacting to reality as it is constantly rehearsing it. So this leads to a really fascinating and, honestly, a pretty counterintuitive question. If the brain is always trying to save energy by predicting what's next, When does it actually ramp up and burn the most fuel? When does that neural fire burn brightest? And here's the punchline. The brain uses the most energy when it's wrong. Surprise is what costs fuel. Think about it. When the world perfectly matches your brain's guess, it can just coast. It's easy. But when the pattern breaks, when something totally unexpected happens, bam, it has to light up, it has to update its model of reality, and it has to burn through energy to figure out what just happened. All right, for our final section, let's just zoom all the way out. Way out. Let's try and connect this tiny 20-watt spark inside your skull to the grand, energetic story of the universe itself. This number here, it represents a critical threshold, a line in the sand. If the brain's overall energy consumption drops below 40% of its normal resting rate, the light of consciousness, it actually begins to fade. And this gives us a whole new way to think about something like a coma. It's not some journey into a metaphysical darkness. It's a power failure. It is simply what happens when there is not enough energy flowing through the system to sustain the complex, beautiful, fragile structure of awareness. And this is where it gets truly profound. The energy that is organizing itself into your thoughts right now, that very same electrochemical fire, it's born from the exact same fundamental principles that organize energy all across the cosmos. In a very real sense, it's the same flame that pulled matter together to light the very first stars. Your own personal consciousness isn't something separate from the universe. It's an expression of it. Every single idea you have is just another spark in this long, incredible story of energy organizing itself into matter, then into life, and eventually into a mind that's capable of wondering about it all. So we'll end here. Your mind, this very moment, is performing an absolute miracle on just 20 watts of power. It's a tiny, impossibly complex flame burning against the vast silence. And so the only real question left is, what will you choose to create with it?